5. Today we're going to be talking about multiplying fractions and mixed numbers. So for the last few lessons we've been talking about adding numbers and mixed numbers, subtracting numbers and mixed numbers, working with fractions, and so we're taking it to the next step and we're going to go ahead and multiply. So when just multiplying fractions in general, you just cross simplify, then multiply your numerators and denominators. So it's a little bit easier than adding and subtracting because we don't have to get the denominators the same or anything like that. So all we have to do is just multiply across. Now what happens when you get to mixed numbers though? Because we have whole numbers and fractions. So basically there's two ways you can do it. This way it looks a little shorter right now, but one of these ways might make a little more sense to you, and I want you to use that way. It doesn't matter which way, as long as we can get to the right answer. So let's look at the two ways real quick. So the first way, we need to go ahead and change our mixed numbers to improper fractions. So in this example, I have 1/2 times 4 2/5. So I went ahead and I wrote down 1/2 times, then I did 5 times 4, which gave me 20, plus 2 gives me 22. So then I have 1/2 times 22 over 5. So at this step, I went ahead and cross-simplified. So I looked from the 1 and the 5 and asked myself, is there anything I can cancel out? Then I looked from 22 to 2 and asked myself, is there anything I can cancel out? And yes, there was. So I canceled out a 2. So I did 2 divided by 2 gives me 1. 22 divided by 2 gives me 11. And then, this is very important that you rewrite this step so that you don't multiply the wrong numbers. So I rewrote my problem. I said 1 over 1 because now we have our 1 in our numerator and we have a 1 in the denominator after we canceled out our 2. And then times 11 after we canceled out the 2 over 5. So then basically you multiply across 11 over 5, or putting it in a mixed number form, 2 and 1/5. So this way might look a little bit easier. If you want to use this way, do it. And here is another way you can do it. And it's by using the distributive property, so you sound a little more fancy. And we're going to go ahead and separate some fractions here. So first of all, we're doing 1/2 times 4 2/5. When you have 4 2/5, it's the same thing as doing 4 plus 2/5. So I went ahead and separated them a little bit and put them in parentheses. So I have 1/2 times 4, then 1/2 times 2/5. So this is where the distributive property is coming in. When I go ahead and do 1/2 times 4, which I wrote it here, then 1/2 times 2/5, and I wrote it here. And we're still adding because we can't just take away the adding symbol. So I wrote my fraction 1/2 times 4 over 1 because obviously we need to make sure we put this in fraction form. Then I cross-simplified. I took out a 2 out of both. So now I have 1 over 1 times 2 over 1, 2 over 1. So then plus, I looked at these two fractions. I have 1/2 times 2/5. So basically we're going to go ahead and cancel out our 2's, and we're going to be left with 1 over 1 times 1/5. So now we're going to go ahead and simplify a little bit. We went ahead and did 1 over 1 times 2 over 1, which leaves you with 2. Then I did 1 over 1 times 1 over 5, which leaves me with 1/5. 2 plus 1/5 gives you 2 and 1/5. So basically, the good thing about this property, and at least seeing it right now, is that you see that you're not just multiplying your fractions, you're multiplying this fraction times all of this. The fraction times the whole number, the fraction times the fraction. Okay? So that is, whether you use this property or not, at least you kind of are getting a better understanding of what you're doing here. So let's go ahead and do some practice problems. All right, let's go ahead and look at our first example. We're going to start off a little bit easier, just multiplying two fractions, just to refresh our memory. So I have 3/5 times 1/2. I look, simplify, try to cross-simplify, and I see that 3 and 2, there's nothing I can take out. 5 and 1, there's nothing I can take out. So now all I have to do is multiply across. I'm going to multiply straight across. So 3 times 1 is going to give me 3, and then 5 times 2 is going to give me 10. So 3/10 is our final answer. All right, let's go ahead and look at number 2. We have 2/3 times 4. Now, the first step I will have you do is rewrite the problem by making 4 a fraction, by making it 4 over 1, because I don't want you to multiply the wrong thing. I don't want you to multiply the 4 times the numerator and the 4 times the denominator because that's not a fraction. So let's go ahead and rewrite it just to cover our own self, so we don't make any little mistakes. So we have 2/3 times 4 over 1. So I try to cross-simplify. Can 3 and 4, is there anything that can be taken out? No. 2 and 1, is there anything that can be taken out? No. So let's go ahead and just multiply across. So 2 times 4 gives you 8, 3 times 1 gives you 3, And then you can leave it like that or change it to a mixed number. So this would be or 3 goes into 8 about 2 times. So that would give us 2 2/3. So however you want to write your answer. It's fine with me. All right, let's go ahead and look at number 3. We have 5/6 times 3/5. Let's go ahead and cross simplify. Is there anything we can take out here? 5 and 5? Yes. I'm going to go ahead and take a 5 out of both of these, and I'm going to be left with 1 because 5 divided by 5 gives me 1. 5 divided by 5 gives me 1. Now I'm going to look at these two numbers. Is there anything I can take out? Yes. So I'm going to go ahead and take out a 3 out of both of these. So 6 divided by 3 leaves me with 2. 3 divided by 3 leaves me with 1. And now this is very important. Please rewrite your fractions here so that you do not make a little mistake. So I canceled out my 5 and 6, and now I have 1/2 times 1 over 1, which is going to leave me with 1/2. Now the reason why we cross simplify right here is because it's a little bit easier to simplify with smaller numbers than it is with bigger numbers. Now if we had bigger numbers in this example, you might get like 200 and something over 100 and something, and you're not sure if there's anything that can cancel out. But if you go to the previous step, the multiplication step, you can at least cancel out with smaller numbers. So I would suggest that you do it now just so that you make sure your answer is in complete simplest form. That's fine. All right, let's go ahead and look at number 4. Now this is one of those examples with the mixed numbers. So I'm going to do this example both ways. So the way where we change our mixed number to an improper fraction, and I'm going to do the way where we separate it with the 8 plus the 4/9, okay? So let's go ahead and try that real quick. So way number 1, we have 1/4 times 9 times 8, which is going to give you 72, plus 4, which is going to give you 76. So 76 over 9. So now we're going to go ahead and try to cross cancel. Is there anything that can be taken out here? No. Is there anything that can be taken out here? Yes. So I know for sure a 2 can be taken out. So I'm going to go ahead and do 76 divided by 2 on the side. So 2 goes into 7 3 times, 6, 1, 6, it goes in 8 times. So we would get 38, and actually I think 4 can go into this. So let's go ahead and try to take out a 4. 76 divided by 4. 4 goes into 7 one time. 4, we're going to get 3, bring down our 6. 4 goes into 36 9 times. So we have, it goes in 19 times. So I'm going to take out a 4 actually out of both of these instead of just a 2. So 4 divided by 4 gives me 1. 76 divided by 4 gives me 19. So now I'm going to rewrite my problem, very important. So I'm going to rewrite it as 1 over 1 times 19 over 9, which leaves me with 19 over 9. And then we're going to go ahead and change it to a mixed number. So 9 goes into 19 2 times, and we're going to have a remainder of 1 over 9. So 2 and 1/9. So let's go ahead and try it the other way. But we have way 2. We have 1/4 times 8 and 4/9. So I'm going to go ahead and separate this. So I'm going to have 1/4 times 8 plus 4/9. So now comes the distributive property. We're going to do 1/4 times 8, and we're going to do 1/4 times 4 over 9. So I'm going to write it in parentheses. It's very nice to use parentheses to remind yourself of what's what, that we're grouping different things, and what process you're doing first. So I'm going to do 1/4 times 8 over 1 plus 1/4 times 4 over 9. So let's go ahead and cross simplify. I can take a 4 out of both of these, so I'm left with 1 and 2. Over here, I can take a 4 out of both of these and be left with 1 and 1. So I'm going to rewrite it, just to be safe. So I have 1 over 1, sorry, it's getting kind of small here. 1 over 1 times 2 over 1 plus, we have 1 over 1 times 1 over 9. So now let's go ahead and simplify. 1 over 1 times 2 over 1 is going to leave you with 2. And then 1 over 1 times 1 over 9 is going to leave you with 1/9. So we put them together. 2 and 1/9 is our answer. We got the same answer both ways. So whether you want to do it this way or this way is completely up to you. All right, let's go ahead and do another example. This example, we have 2 mixed numbers. So we're going to go ahead and change both of these to improper fractions, simplify, then multiply. Okay? So we have 8 times 1, which leaves you with 8, plus 7, which leaves you with 15. So we have 15 over 8 times 5 times 2, which leaves you with 10, plus 2, which leaves you with 12. So we have times 12 over 5. So now let's go ahead and do cross simplification. So I'm going to take a 5 out of both of these, and 15 divided by 5 leaves me with 3. 5 divided by 5 leaves me with 1. And I can actually take out a 4 out of 8 and 12 as well. So 8 divided by 4 leaves me with 2. 12 divided by 4 leaves me with 3. And now, as always, I'm going to rewrite my fraction so I don't get confused. So I have 3 over 2 times 3 over 1. So now let's go ahead and get our final answer. 3 times 3 leaves you with 9 in the numerator. 2 times 1 gives you 2 in the denominator. So let's go ahead and change that to a mixed number. That's going to give us 2 goes into 9, goes in 4 times, and that will leave us with a remainder of 1 half. 4 and 1 half. Alright, let's go ahead and look at our last problem. This time we are going to be doing a word problem. So there are some special keywords when it comes to multiplying fractions that we will point out here. So it says, Sophia wishes to make 1/2 of a recipe. If the original recipe calls for 3 3/4 cups of flour, how many cups should she use? Alright, so the first thing I want you to pick out is that we are making half of a recipe. So we're not making a whole recipe, we're making half of it. Another thing you need to pick out is that you need 3 3/4 cups for a whole recipe. So we're dealing with these two numbers. We're going to be taking half of this number. Anytime you see the word half of, it means multiply. So basically we're doing 1/2 of 3 3/4. Or you can write it as 1/2 times 3 3/4. So this is one of those problems that can be done either way, but just kind of since I have a small amount of space here, I'm going to go ahead and change them to improper fractions, simplify, then multiply. Okay? So let's go ahead. We have 1/2 times 4 times 3, which gives you 12, plus 3, which is going to give you 15. So we have 15 over 4. We cannot cross simplify, so because 4 and 1, you can take nothing out. 2 and 15, you can take nothing out. So let's go ahead and continue. So 15 times 1 gives you 15, and then 2 times 4 gives you 8. So basically 8 goes into 15. It goes in 1 time. So we have 1, and then our remainder would be 15 minus 8, which is going to give you 7, and 7/8. So 1 7/8 cups would be your final answer. Alright, as always, go ahead and rewatch the video. If part of it confused you, you can also go back into your textbook and look at some examples that have already been done for you there. And always bring questions to me. I'll be happy to answer them. Let's go ahead and do some on your own questions.
Alright, you have 5 problems to do for me. The first 4 you just need to go ahead and multiply. And then number 5, I'll go ahead and read it to you. It says, the weight of an object on Mars is about 2/3 its weight on Earth. How much would an 80-pound dog weigh on Mars? So go ahead and do those 5 problems, and we'll see what you get tomorrow. Good luck.